Hello, everybody. This is Gus from Askewed Reviews, and it's Saturday, so you know what that means. It's a new episode of Cinema Society Saturday. So, just in case you don't know what that is, let me tell you a little bit about this group. I'm involved with a bunch of other people who absolutely love horror movies. So, what we do is each week we are randomly given a theme. We then partner up, give our partner a movie that fits within the theme, and then we review that film for all of you. So the theme for this week was robots, cyborgs, and animatronics. So my partner for this week is Jim the Horror Barber, and if you're not already following him, you are definitely missing out. I love his content and his ability to make everything very entertaining. Definitely check him out if you're not already doing so. So, with the film that Jim assigned for me this week, it also ended up giving me an interesting challenge because I've never in my life thought of this movie as a horror film. But going into it, having that concept of it being one gave me a different perspective. Now, I will say I still don't see it as a horror movie, but I picked up on a couple of extra things. So, the film that Jim gave me for this week was RoboCop. That's right, I'm referring to the 1987 film directed by Paul Verhoeven. So, I've always been a big fan of the RoboCop films, especially the first one. And coming into this thinking of it as a horror movie was an interesting experience. I will say this, it definitely does have some horror level violence. It does have a monster versus monster fight, technically, with RoboCop versus Ed 209. And the sequence where Emmy gets mutated by toxic waste is absolutely horrifying. So let me give you the explanation or concept for this film, but with a little bit more of a horror understanding of how it would be seen. So, in a dystopian future, we meet our main character of Alex Murphy. He's a regular average police officer who has just been transferred to the Detroit Police Department. Now, in this somewhat distant future, we have a police department that has been merged with a corporation called OCP, which seems to be running everything. So, this is Officer Murphy's first day at this new precinct, and he is partnered up with an Officer Lewis. The two of them start their day off trying to find and stop crime. Unfortunately, though, while doing their rounds, they wind up running into a very violent gang run by the man named Clarence Bodeker. While trying to round up all of his gang, Murphy and Lewis get separated within an abandoned warehouse. And unfortunately, Murphy descends upon the gang, and all of them descend upon him. They torture, mutilate, and shoot up Officer Murphy and leave him for dead. Now, that's not the end of Officer Murphy's story, though, as OCP does a lot of stuff involving science. So much so that they bring Officer Murphy back from the dead as a monstrous creature known as RoboCop. Part man, part machine, all cop. But will he be able to hand out justice or just bloody violence? So, as I mentioned before, I absolutely love this movie. So, for me, on my scale, I'm giving Robocop a 4 out of 5. If you'd like to check it out for yourself, it's currently streaming for free on Max. Now, going back to what I said before, if you're not already following Jim, definitely go and do so. He's got some great stuff to watch, and let's see if we can get him up to 2,000 followers. It blows my mind that he's not already at that point. And of course, keep an eye out for the film that I gave Jim to review, which was Death Machine from 1994. So I hope you enjoyed this episode of Cinema Society Saturday. And please let me know in the comments whether or not you think RoboCop fits as a horror movie, because I will say this in its defense. If Darkman and The Toxic Avenger are considered horror movies, this one probably should be as well. And if you'd like to see what everyone else involved in this group did for their videos this week, just look up the hashtag Cinema Society Saturday.